welcome to my channel. I am Unako and this is a new vlog. This is a spirituality vlog. Today's vlog is going to be about my spiritual awakening and how it all started and how it has been. Obviously, I don't want to tell you everything because there are certain things that should stay, between you and God. And sorry for any background noises that you might hear because there are people working close by. So my spiritual awakening started in 2020, around October or September, but it was like way after my birthday because my birthday is in June. But what I will say is that right before my birthday, on my birthday, and after my birthday, I just knew that something was gonna happen, but I couldn't really put a finger on it, what exactly it was, but I knew there was a change coming because also years prior to that, I like after my birthday, every single time there will always be a new change coming by, like always something different happening, be it like different like friendship dynamics or how I view certain things, what I like, what I don't like anymore, and everything like that. It started off as no, yes, I was influenced by, not influenced, but I was directed through a tweet where someone was just like, oh, you want to talk to God? Like there was just this whole discussion, and then this guy was like, guys, you want to talk to God? Like if you want to hear God, just pray to God and God will talk to you. And I got curious. And mind you, this was around the time like I didn't know anything about ancestors. I wouldn't say I demolished or I viewed ancestors and spirit guides as demonic or anything. I was just not raised to, like, I wasn't made aware of other entities. It was just like God and the Bible. That's all. Like that's all I knew. Like angels and all of that, like I was not aware of any of that. So I went and I kept the tweet because it has played a huge part in me picking up the call, or me making the call to God, or me picking up, God's call. And I'm gonna probably show it here. I saved it because it's just a reminder for me to keep on going. Like the reason, every time I find myself being like, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be doing this? I just go back to that tweet and I'm like, remember when this happened and what happened afterwards? So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the tweet right here. And after the tweet, I went and researched on a prayer guide that I'm also gonna show you guys the prayer guide that I don't have the whole thing, but if one of you created that prayer guide, just mention yourself in the comment section and I'll include the website link for others to also go to. So I took that prayer guide and I followed it every single time. I followed it every day. I would wake up, follow that prayer guide, because I know like the following day I'm gonna dream. But after I started using the prayer guide, I talked to God, didn't receive any response because I remember sitting in my room like, okay, talk to me, God, I've done everything, and nothing happened. I felt obviously angry, but the first time I had an interaction outside of myself or inside of myself was when I was dreaming, and a spirit started to communicate with me like, no, God loves you, God is aware of you, you are definitely aware of God too, and you are protected, and watch out for snakes in the grass when it comes to friendships and other people. Obviously that worried me a bit, but what worried me even more is that someone outside of me communicated with me, because I know I didn't say that to myself. Why would I say that? I don't sound like that. That sounds like a man. And then I started researching about spirit guides and angels and ancestors, and I started doing everything by myself. I didn't include my family because I knew how they would react. Actually, I did test a few family members out at first, and I'll always get the reaction of like mostly like my parents. My siblings were more so like just chilled, like, oh, that's happening for you, okay, how has it been? But my parents were more like, oh, that's not how we do things. That's not. And I was just, no, this is how I do it. This is how I was called. I also just want to mention that I have a flu, by the way. But I'm healing from it. In a few months after I got into that spiritual awakening, I started having like a vision, not visions, but like my vision just started being blurry a lot, like very, very blurry. Well, I'll sit in my room and I'll just be like, oh, what a day. The dreams were nice and I'm here. And at some point, it eventually got right, like after a few weeks. That blurriness, I experienced it probably like a week, but I'd always voice out my opinion on like to my family, like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going blind. But then I'll be all right again. Like it wouldn't be too blurry, but I wouldn't see things properly. Like they would just seem very distant, and I knew it didn't feel like I needed glasses. It just something was just happening. And I ended up finding out why it was happening because the week later I started seeing like sparks around the house, and I didn't understand what I was seeing. And I sometimes would get scared, but I wouldn't be scared because I like sparkly stuff. I'm a very, I wouldn't say childish, but I'm a very childlike type of person sometimes. Like if I see a spark, I'm gonna, like, you got my attention. Like when I see a spark, so for me it just felt so magical, even though I didn't understand what I was seeing. And I would go, like every other person has always said, like they would go on YouTube or any other social media platforms or on websites, like, what does it mean when you see a spark? And sometimes the answers can't come from anything outside of yourself. It's actually going to come from within you. And that happened for me, where I eventually found out why I was seeing what I was seeing and what it was in 2021. It was in January, and I was in a dark room, also a dream. I'm a dreamer. I think you've probably, by now you're like, you seem like a dreamer. And in the dream, I was in a dark room, but there were voices in the room and they were just communicating. And through the end of the dream, before the dream ended, because sometimes when I'm away in the dream, like, oh, I am dreaming, that's when God is like, okay, cut the dream. She needs to wake up. She's awake. And the person next to me, the entity next to me that I couldn't see, was like, those sparks that you see around the house, they can turn into angels, just so you know. And that's where the dream ended. And I woke up, I wrote it down, and I was like, oh, okay. Now I see what's happening. Now I see why I'm seeing the things that I see and who they are. They haven't turned into angels, but they've turned shapes sometimes. Like they'll just appear as flashes, like this, probably like this big, like this type of circle. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Like, yeah. Sometimes they can go bigger, but they just stop. And I got scared, obviously, like they can turn into angels. What do angels look like? I always thought angels appear like humanoid, but from my experience, I've seen some who can appear as like different type of animals. Sometimes animals that you've never seen before, like animals that you've never seen before or didn't even know existed. So it has been quite a life-changing and scary, but also blissful experience. I've learned so much about myself and where I come from and the entities that I've been working with, and seeing and experiencing from a different perspective. They've been very kind and patient with me, more than I'm ever patient about myself. And they've taught me so much about myself and especially God. And I know like getting closer to God has helped me be kinder to myself and the people around me, but also set like healthy boundaries, like, hey, okay, those habits are things that I'm letting go of, and I want to be in environments, be it friendship wise, physically, emotionally, mentally, or acquaintance wise, or whatever. I want to be in an environment where I feel safe, where I can be myself, where I can have fun, because I like having fun. And every time I find myself in a fearing mode where I'm like, oh, I'm so scared. I'm like, okay, it's okay, it's okay. Let's have fun. I know it's scary. I would say the downside of being a spiritually aware person is that you become so aware even of tragedies, like, oh, this is about to happen, this might happen to that person, or this country, or this community, or like it gets scary, or even about yourself. Like, so I've learned a lot, and I've also got aware that there are certain parts of myself that I haven't healed from, or didn't even know that I would need to heal from. For instance, my childhood experiences. I didn't know that they play such a huge factor in how you grow as an adult and how you treat yourself and the people around you. But I've learned quite a lot about that. Throughout my YouTube journey, I'll share more experiences. Maybe I'll also share how you can do certain things, or how you can live with certain things, be it the people from your past or people from this present moment that you find hard to get in connection with, and how to find peace and harmony into letting go of what is no longer for you, or who is no longer for you, and finding contentment with that, and let them go with peace and with love and light, and reflect on your experiences with that person. And yeah, I could share more, but I want to leave room open for you also to share your experiences in your own spiritual awakening. And if you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer. If I can't answer them on my comment section, then I'll answer them in the other videos also. So thank you for watching and tuning in. I can't wait to grow with you.